Join Tara and Alyssa as they explore the intersection of business, lifestyle, health, and wellness. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a wellness enthusiast, or someone seeking a meaningful life, this podcast delivers insights and inspiration for living your best life, because true success is about more than just the bottom line. To stay up to date on our latest episodes, be sure to subscribe and like us on our channel and follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram at The Business of Living Well. Hi guys, welcome back to The Business of Living Well. Today we sat down with Billi Zielinski. I have known Billi pretty much my whole life. She is such an amazing person. And she's actually the CEO of Make-A-Wish here in North Dakota. And they have a lot of fun stuff coming up, but we get to hear so much from her today.
Yeah, she dove deep into her story and her background and how she got to where she is today. And it's so inspiring to hear how she navigated through that and really in each thing that she did, just wanted to help people.
Yeah, like connection is her passion. She took a couple hard times of her life and really pushed through and moved forward. We talk a lot about leadership.
Yes, yeah. And what she's gone through has made her the great leader she is today. And she said it, she is continuously becoming a great leader, that you can always learn and grow from different people and different connections that you have.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm excited for you guys to hear this one. So follow along.
Billi Zielinski, welcome to The Business of Living Well.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to go on this adventure with you two.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're excited to have you. You are the CEO and president of Make-A-Wish in North Dakota. Mm-hmm. You had breast cancer, a life-threatening illness that you have now beat and are in remission.
Yay. Much rejoicing.
Yes. And you're an overall great leader in the Fargo-Moorhead community.
Thank you.
So thank you.
That.
You've had a lot of, I think, nominations, and you've gotten to speak at a few different things and show your leadership skills. So I kind of want to start out with you walking us through maybe your personal career journey. You've had so many diverse and unique experiences. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were in the Peace Corps.
That's
with
correct.
Your husband, right? Where did you guys went to?
Turkmenistan, Central Asia. Look it up on your map.
It's so awesome.
It's not one they talk about a lot.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then you worked for government administration. You've been a COO, and now you're the CEO. So can you just talk about these different changes and what led to your job changes and how you're in the nonprofit world now?
Yeah, well, it's a long story because I'm, mid-century modern, as I like to say right now, but because it gets longer the older you get, right? Your life's, your origin story, if you will. So I'm from a small town, similar to you. I'm from Redfield, South Dakota, and I think that's where I start because that's where a lot of my formative years were. I grew up in a trailer park, so when you talk about resiliency on your podcast, there's a lot of resiliency when you're coming from maybe a not an affluent neighborhood and you are developing yourself into who you are and what you value. And I think that in a small town too, you have a lot of opportunity in your high school to do a lot of things because you need to, because you have to be in the band, you have to be on the basketball team, and you get to, what's kind of cool, because otherwise there wouldn't be a team or a band. And just all those little things, even in that beginning of our fabric, that makes us who we are, right? Yes. And then there's the next stage of your career, right? So, or even your life. So I actually started my working career as a babysitter, of course. We got the certification from the American Red Cross that I was able to babysit, but then also working at a nursing home. So I worked and saw a lot of people who were aging and had this element of always wanting to help people. And I think that that's been a thread throughout, and also building relationships. I also worked with people with disabilities through high school as well. And I also worked at a tanning bed and a salon.
So the small towns where you got
stuff, all the things.
Oh, yeah.
I came up here wanting to be an architect, and one too many cardboard models later, I decided that just wasn't for me because all my friends were social and I didn't know anyone. I was the only person from my class to come up here to NDSU in Fargo. I met my husband during this time. I decided to transfer to MSUM, go Dragons, and I studied political science. And I worked for a steel company, my first real big girl job, the first decade of my career. So we manufactured steel components for agricultural equipment, very exciting, but a very male-dominated field. And so from a woman's standpoint, you really you learned how to play golf, and you learned how to talk in different ways. And I think that it was awesome. Irv Thompson was the president of the company at the time. And not only that, but he also taught me the fundamentals of running a small business and also the importance of giving back to your community. And so he afforded me the opportunity to be a part of League of Women Voters. I was a big sister through the Big Brother, Big Sister program, and still get together with my little, which is really fun. And also just really was involved in a lot of things throughout the community. And so my husband and I were like, it's the year 2000 that was coming up, Y2K. And what are we going to do? And we just thought that, hey, let's put in our application to be Peace Corps volunteers in the beginning of the year 2000. And by September of that year, we were in Turkmenistan, as I mentioned.
That's amazing.
And we were doing business development activities and also I helped a couple young girls just speaking English. And that was very rewarding. And what's really great about the Peace Corps, and I could have a whole podcast about Peace Corps, so that's for another day, but it's great not only for helping the country you're serving in, but you get to meet all these fascinating people who are in this together for the very same reasons, altruistic reasons, to help others, to make this world a better place. So I have all these wonderful friends from all across the United States who are now all across the world. But then 9/11 happened. And so when you talk about the different paths, so I would say too, when you think of advice, you may think you're going down this path. I mean, my husband and I wanted to be expats. We wanted to live and work abroad and, work for a non-governmental organization and save the world. And then 9/11 happened and we were evacuated from that post and we came back. And that's when the next part of my career happened, when I started working in government. So I worked for Governor Plenty from Minnesota, and I first worked in Minnesota. Then my husband got a job in D.C., so I thought I would join him. So I spent the time out in D.C. when I first got there working in Congress for a congressional member, and then Governor Plenty established his federal affairs office. And so that's where I was for quite some time there. We had both kids. We got a little row home that was 12 feet wide. And so it was great until another life thing happened, right? So then my father-in-law passed away and we wanted to be close to home. So we moved back to St. Paul and still was a political appointee and then worked as a COO, as you mentioned. And then we kept coming up here, kept coming to Lake Lida and kept coming to see Carol up here in Fargo and just decided we needed to be closer. And that's when 2012 happened. We came up here, we moved up here, and one of my aunts was dying of her breast cancer that had metastasized to her brain. And so I just basically took the kids and we went down to South Dakota and spent those remaining days with her. And at the same time, I felt my lump and I thought, well, no, that can't be, can't be happening to my family. Especially with my kids being 3 and 5, they were just seeing what this disease was doing to their great aunt. And so, I was diagnosed in July of that year and thought I am woman, hear me roar, and could get a job and have cancer at the same time. I was a finalist for a position, and I just remember going into the bathroom in between interviews, and I had lost my hair. I had a beautiful wig named Mona, and I had 9 months of treatment left, and I thought, I would give it my 110%, and I don't have that in me right now. And so I decided to withdraw. And that's when I was just doing informational interviews around town. And this is when Make-A-Wish actually came to the fore. And I thought, that's why I had to go through my own critical illness, is to have more empathy and just understanding of what families go through when a diagnosis comes into your household, and how you really need that hope and joy. And so that's really been my calling. I almost 12 years at Make-A-Wish. And so, like I said, it's a longer story the older I get. But thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. It's such a great story. And it shows, just how a life event can just affect the rest of your life.
Many life events can affect your life. And you kind of took them, and instead of letting them get you down, you used them and were like, okay, well, what can I use this as now? And especially with Make-A-Wish, you've really used it. And now it's World Wish Month.
That's correct.
I'm not correct.
Yeah.
And you're celebrating the 40th anniversary? Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So our 40th anniversary is this whole year of our chapter. So some caring individuals decided that they wanted to help kids here in North Dakota have their wishes come true. And also during April, we're celebrating World Wish Month, which was the founding of the very movement that we get to do every day, those wishes we get to grant. It all started with a little boy, 7-year-old Chris, who had leukemia and wished to be a police officer. And some caring individuals made that happen. And now over 500,000 kids have had their wishes come true, not only in the United States, but even internationally. So that's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating that we get to be part of their lives. We get allowed into lives when they're pretty vulnerable, and what a privilege that is. And we take that very seriously. And we know that when a diagnosis happens, you get told no a lot. You can't do this, you can't do that. You may not be able to go to school. Maybe you're even doctoring down a mail. And what Make-A-Wish does, which is such a cool program, I think, is that you get to come in and say, what would you wish for? What's your yes? What can we help you get to yes? And so it gives them something to look forward to and gives them a hope. And also it's for the whole family. The child gets to experience the wish, but the whole family, who has also been going through this horrific ordeal, gets to have a wish come true as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
And they get to see the light come back in their kids' eyes, for even if it's for that one day. Still, that's a good day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so from all of these experiences that you've had, how would you say that has shaped you into the leader that you are? Like you're such a great leader in the community. So how has it supported your leadership career and I just talking about leadership in general?
Well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And I think that one thing I'd say is I'm also still becoming, right? So I haven't arrived yet. I think it's great to have leadership. There are so many ways that you can lead. And I think I also stand on the shoulders of a lot of people. They come with me even here on this couch, right? My grandmas, my pastors, my, even the lady at Starbucks, she has made an imprint on my life, right? So as long as you're open and willing to listen, I think that curiosity is important as you become a leader, listening and then adapting toward that. To be a good leader, you have to understand the needs, but also, because it's not about you.
Right.
It's actually about the people I serve. It's about the staff that I help lead to do well. So I guess that's maybe the thread, is that curiosity to, and just, again, that want to make the world a better place.
Absolutely.
Do you think that over the years, how has it changed? Like if you go back 12 years, like how has your leadership in those years changed after some of the things that you've been in or through?
Yeah. I had always, I've been a leader since I was younger. I've always liked to not be in charge, but to help rally the troops. And I think how it's changed with Make-A-Wish is that the National Make-A-Wish America has actually helped me become more self-aware as a leader. So they've provided some tools that I didn't even know existed, like the DISC profile and Strengths Finder and other tools that help me be more aware of who I am and how I show up in the world, so that then I can understand how I communicate better, how you can communicate with me better. It just helps me navigate the world in a more organized fashion. I think that that's changed since my natural leadership. I think it's been enhanced by some of those activities. Even, mentorship can really help you shape who you are as a leader.
I love that. Yeah. So, okay, you mentioned obviously mentorship, communication, leaning on others. Is there any big qualities in a leader that you've noticed over the years?
I think for nonprofit leadership, well, I don't even know. Maybe this transcends industry. You have to have passion for what you're doing, because if you don't authentically show up, then you can't really sell, influence, invite people into your mission or your business. You really have to believe and have purpose in what you're doing. So I think that's probably number one in leadership, because the people who are working for you, they will know if you aren't showing up in a authentic and genuine fashion.
They're not going to want to show up if you're not showing up.
No. So I think that is like the number one thing in any leader. You have to be true to yourself, making sure that your values align with that of the organization, but that you are being genuine in your approach.
Yeah.
And passion for it.
Yeah. Well, and that's so true, because as you said, when you don't have a passion for what you're doing, it kind of shows in those around you, and they can tell that you don't have a passion for it, and then they kind of don't have a passion for it because you don't have a passion for it too. You talked about mentors. Has there been mentors in your life throughout your different jobs or life phases that you still or did kind of look up to?
Absolutely. I've had so many mentors, so many people who have influenced me in different ways. Academic mentors, personal friend mentors. I had this group in throughout college and after college called the Poetry Chicks, and sometimes it was just an excuse to write some poetry and drink some wine, but it also was a support system and a hey, I have this idea, can I bounce it off of you? I mean, that was mentorship and friendship for sure. But I still have friends who I call friends, are mentors now to this day, and help me in different ways, right? And I get the privilege of doing that now. I think it's, to not only younger, but I think that when you grow in a mentorship relationship, it goes both ways then after a while. It's not always just one way. You're helping each other. And I think that's what's important, is prioritizing people in your life. This is what we're on this world to do, is connect, right?
Yeah,
as humans, as people. And I think that, a lot of people have invested in me in different ways, not financially, just invested their time. And isn't that valuable nowadays? It goes by so quickly. And so when you have someone who says, I want to sit down and invest some time in you, how valuable is that?
Well, it makes you feel valued too. It just, without even the mentorship part of it, of like them teaching you things, just that initial of you feeling loved and valued by someone else is so powerful.
Yeah. And the connection piece. I think connection is so important, and something, what do you do in the community to try to stay connected now? You have great employees working for you, but what are some other things that you do?
Well, I'd say it's so interesting because my word of the year is connection.
I love that.
That's pretty fantastic. I was just sharing about networks and networking recently with a mentee. And when I was younger, being connected, and you were getting to know people, and a lot of people, in your 20s, and you're just exploring in your very different groups, not only college, but your new profession and just at the bar. Right? You're building constantly connections. As you get older, you really have to look for them. You have to make time for them. You have to be a little bit more intentional, because there may not be always those natural times. We have some that are natural to us because we're parents. So you're in groups, soccer moms and football parents, and, you're going to the cello concert, and, you're seeing different people in that way. I think from a professional standpoint, go up to those startup brews, go to Women Connect activities through the, anything through the chamber, but you have to be more intentional.
Yeah.
And I think we were just talking about time. I also am a little bit more guarded and maybe have a little bit more of a checklist and criteria of how I'm going to have my time be spent. Family is my core value. And so right now, especially as my oldest is graduating from high school in a couple of months, and I have a 16-year-old daughter, that's my priority right now. Not that I don't give it 110% at Make-A-Wish, but that's my priority. And so other relationships in the community, they may have to wait a little bit until I have more time.
Well, I think that's okay too, because if those people will understand, like everyone's, hopefully everyone's priority is their family comes first. And I think priorities are so important in general. What are, other than your family, like what are, to help you stay balanced so that you can bring good mentorship into others, what are some priorities for you?
Yeah, and it's very much what you are playing in this space, exploring this intersection of really community, of the lifestyle that you're leading, of health. I really feel great when I'm able to work out or to go for a walk or some kind of health and fitness. Eat good foods. I love really good food. I love eating. And so I have to do the exercise as well, especially as I get older. And also I love to journal. I prioritize the written word. I like some reflection and meditation and really putting your mind in a good space. So I think it's, all of that. And faith has an element, but community, work, family,
The lake.
The lake is my happy place.
We were just talking about different mentors that you've had throughout your career. We touched quite a bit on some major transitions that you've had, both personal and professional. Can you talk about like how did you adapt to all of this? There's so much adaptability and resilience needed when you go through any sort of change, let alone these huge life changes.
Well, it's almost a grieving process, right? You have to also accept it. You have to just deal with it. And then you have to, my mind at least switches to, okay, so now what are our options? What's next? How can we move forward? And I think it's kind of that logical operations type of part of my brain process brain where you're like, okay, if I do this next and then that will happen, and then and again it may not, but you just always have to, you're always shifting and adapting and making it work for yourself. And again, even during break I was saying, I'm perfectly imperfect, doing the best I can, and that's really all we can expect from ourselves and each other. And I think that, as long as we give I know giving grace is maybe a little bit overused, but at least giving benefit of the doubt and maybe understanding. And I think that's what you also need to do with yourself when you're going through those things, is just give yourself some time and then get to work and just start. And it may not, it's progress that you're looking for of moving forward, because that inertia is what keeps us going. We have to keep going forward in life. Otherwise,
you'll fall behind.
Exactly.
I like that. Perfectly imperfect. Have you always had that mindset? Did you ever have like a perfectionist mindset?
Yes, I probably have. And probably was hard on myself for not achieving where I wanted to be. But I think I've been also pretty realistic throughout my life, because again, we're all very unique. And all those circumstances make you who you are. And I think that just some of those circumstances, you had to be a realist. And even though I did have an imaginary friend when I was growing up, just because of the circumstances that perhaps I was in, needed someone to talk to, even at that time.
Absolutely.
About things. I think that you have to, it's okay to be your head in the stars and to dream. I think that's what I get to do with Make-A-Wish, right? We give our children the ability to dream. and to think beyond their illness and beyond what their current circumstances are. So I guess maybe that's what I also would do in those, without knowing that it was kind of Make-A-Wish. It was determining what is possible now. Now that it's changed, what's the next step? And now we just need to start.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that you said that you've always loved helping people. It's just kind of in everything you've done, it's always been in your nature. What is some advice that you would give someone who also wants to make an impact? Because you've made an impact in almost everything that you've done. How would you give it some advice to someone who wants to make an impact in our community, and where would they start?
Yes, absolutely. And I think Maya Angelou said something like, any life you touch, you make an impact. And I think regardless, it doesn't have to even be big. It can be just a little something. I think there are many ways in this community to get involved, which I think is awesome. There's so many worthy causes who need help, time and talent to help them achieve their mission in particular. So I think first off is going even to Dakota Medical Foundation's website and look at all of the foundation or all of the charities that are part of their Giving Hearts Day, because they also list if they need help for volunteerism. Then I'd say, depending on what your cause is, right? Because I think, again, going back to what inspires you to be a leader, you also want to volunteer for something that you're passionate for. Absolutely. In fact, I was just having lunch with a friend who, she said, I found it. And she's 70. I found it, what I wanting to give my time back to this community, and it's Hope Blooms.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she's like, I don't need to deliver. I don't need to have that gratification of giving it to someone. I just like the idea of putting that bouquet together and the idea that it goes to someone.
Yeah.
And I think just finding, if it's animals, if it's, whatever it may be, I think then just it's again, the process, right? What's the next step? Usually there is a how to get involved on their website.
Yeah.
And it's just start and see if they need you. And I think that's what I would say to people is just get out there, and because there's a lot of help that's needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What if people want to get more involved with Make-A-Wish? What, besides just like monetary donations, what else are you doing or needing volunteers for?
Yeah, so we have office volunteers, we have internships, we have event volunteers who help us with our upcoming Wine and Wishes.
I want to talk about that too.
Coming up on May 3rd. But also our Cadillac, if you will, for volunteerism, the one that's kind of our extension of our paid staff, is a wish granting volunteer. So this is where actually we specially train our volunteers to go into these families' lives, complete strangers generally, and sit down with them and discover what would bring you the most joy. What does it look like? Who's there? What are some of your favorites? And they're the ones who actually walk alongside the family throughout the journey. We as staff get the paperwork behind the scenes and kind of, again, do that operational component. And sometimes we don't even meet the families. It's those wish granters in teams of 2 to 3 who actually are the ones that get to say, your wish is coming true. They get to have a little party. They get to reveal it. They get to do the airport send off if it's a wish that to go somewhere. And I think that's a really, it's rewarding. It feels good for you as a volunteer. It gives you joy to give. But these kids get a lot of joy from you being a part of their lives and saying, wow, you gave me this. You made a sign for me too. You know,
Yes.
I mean, they can make it as magical. I think it's the little moments that people coming into people's lives that make a big difference as well. It's not just the wish moment itself.
Absolutely. Okay, so the event, you said it's May 3rd.
May 3rd at the Delta. And again, it's our 40th birthday celebration. Yeah. We actually have the mother of Make-A-Wish, of Chris Gracious, who I was telling you about, who started the whole movement. Our founder is still involved with Make-A-Wish.
Wow.
And she's coming to our chapter to celebrate with us and share her story. Then we have Wishes throughout the decades who are going to share their story of then and now. And we may have a special surprise that evening as well. So and we have Nothing But Cakes, who are going to be our cupcake sponsor, and a delicious meal, live auction, silent auction. We have an awesome MC who co-MCs with Wish Child. So Josie, our Wish Child, is going to be our co-MC. And then Missy's our auctionister, as she's called, is going to be auctioning and MCing the event as well. It's a fun time, and it's going to be a great celebration.
That's amazing.
I love that. How can you still buy tickets?
You certainly can. So just go to wish.org/North Dakota, and there's a list for events. And yeah, the tickets are,
Link it below.
I think, $75. I should know this by now. But we even have a children's price this year. So we encourage family events. So yes, we are about 2/3 the way, and we're even welcoming corporate sponsors still up until the very day.
Fine.
More money, more mission is what we like to say.
The more the merrier. Okay, well, one of my last questions. Your favorite quote is Margaret Mead. Let's see. It says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Can you talk a little bit about what that quote means to you?
What it means to me is that I'm not alone. And even when I had that imaginary friend, I'm not alone. I think we are here to work together, and we can get things done better when we are together than just alone. And I think I've seen it time and time again when people, if it's the 97 flood, if it's, coming together to make wishes come true, just the groups of people, when they are committed to something and making it happen, it has even more big impact. Not to say that one person can't make a difference. Right. I don't want to say that, but I just think there's so much more we can do when we are all together. And so I guess that's what it means to me.
I love that.
I love that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That was very well put.
It was very well put. You're amazing.
You're so kind to say.
I don't even know how that's my best way of summing
wrap it up.
Yeah. It's like, you're amazing in everything that you've done. So I just want to ask you, we always end with the same question. What does living well mean to you?
It means I have breath in my lungs and a heartbeat, and I have time to spend with beautiful women like you.
Oh, okay. No, now you're going to make us cry.
I know. Oh, that's
yeah,
so sweet.
Because not everybody gets this opportunity. Yeah. And I get to sit here right now and be with you. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that. And so thank you for the invitation to be here with you. But I do think that's what is about living well. Yeah. You realize you don't take every day is not taken for granted.
Yeah.
You get to wake up and you have choices right away. Mm-hmm. Your positivity, your happiness, taking life into your own hands. I know there's a lot of things that are dealt to you, and I know that there are a lot of people fighting battles. Everyone has something that's going on. So be kinder than necessary. Be adaptable and just remain curious. And that's how you get through your days, and not get through, that you thrive in your days. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
it's a great reminder.
Yeah. Thank you. What a way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And end this episode.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Yes,
thank you.